A couple of days ago, I put out a video about The Prince by Machiavelli. And every time I make a video like that, I expect a particular type of comment, and I'm usually never disappointed. The comment goes more or less something like this: "This is stupid, I don't like Machiavelli." Now, the topic of discussion might be something very complex like, is it beneficial for a prince to learn how not to be good? Which is a really good and irrelevant question, but what do you have to do to answer that question? You have to think a lot, you have to analyze the behavior of the people in power throughout history, and along with endless other considerations, you have to dedicate a lot of time and mental energy to it. Now, why would our brains want to waste energy like that? So what do we do instead? We ask a simpler question, and the question is, do I like Machiavelli or not? And if the answer to that is, no, I don't like Machiavelli, then we'll take that answer and turn it into, well, it turns out that it's not beneficial for a prince to learn how not to be good. But notice how the two questions literally have nothing to do with each other. Whether you like Machiavelli or not has absolutely nothing to do with the original topic of discussion. And we tend to do this with all kinds of complex questions we have to answer in life. So the first big idea is to realize our tendency to replace complex questions with easier, irrelevant questions and thereby reduce our ridiculous biases caused by cognitive ease. A few days ago, I was talking to my friend who's really into coconut oil, and he started to tell me how great it is and how it's the best thing in the world. And I don't know much about coconut oil, so I said, "That's pretty cool, why is it so good?" And he just had absolutely no idea. So I said, "Okay, cool, why don't we just research it?" So I get on my computer and type in something like, "Is coconut oil good for you?" And I'm not even done typing when he yells, "Look, I found a study that says it's good for you." So I thought, that was pretty fast. And I go over there and I take a look at the article, and it was citing the study that literally had nothing to do with whether coconut oil is good for you or not. But I also clicked on his search tab, and guess what he had searched for? He had searched for why coconut oil is good for you. And that is what we tend to do with everything in our life. If you care about searching for truth and don't want to live in some fantasy world, instead of typing in why coconut oil is good for you, type in, is coconut oil good for you? If you're Mormon and you care about searching for truth, stop typing in why Joseph Smith is the best thing that happened to humanity. Instead, type in, I would like to learn more about Joseph Smith. And I guarantee you those two will give you very different results. So remember, if searching for truth is what you care about, realize how susceptible we are to confirmation bias and don't answer the question before you've even started your research. Now, a lot of people watching this are probably thinking, stupid Mormons, yeah, let's all make fun of how easily they'll fall for bullshit and how stupid they are. But chances are that you yourself might be Catholic or whatever else, but let's just pick the Catholics. For those of us who aren't Catholic, your beliefs are just as childish and ridiculous. For those of us who aren't Catholic, the idea of giving our time and money to some guy wearing a dress and a ridiculous hat because that somehow makes him important is just as crazy. So how can we look at something and think that it's so ridiculous but not be able to see it if it's our own? It's called the Endowment Effect. We value things highly just because they're ours. If you have a car that you're trying to sell, you'll think that it should cost a lot more than if you weren't the owner and you were actually trying to buy it yourself. So the third big idea is to become aware of our endowment bias. So ask yourself with everything else, including religion, do you really think your religion is the best because you actually searched for truth without confirmation bias or all the other biases and came to that conclusion? Or is it because it's just your religion? Do you really think that Nicaragua is the best country in the world because it really is? Or could it possibly be due to the fact that you were just born there? So the three big ideas are: 1. Cognitive ease. We have to stop replacing complex questions with easier ones that are irrelevant if we want to be less biased. 2. confirmation bias. We have to stop starting out with an answer before we've even asked the question. And 3, the endowment effect. We have to stop thinking that something is great just because it's ours. Maybe Nicaragua really is the best country in the world and you just happen to be born there. Or maybe it's a little more likely that you're just biased because of the endowment effect.